Hey everyone, welcome back to FM Jeeping, and today we're going to be installing new motor mounts in the Jeep. So a while back I had every intention on building my own motor mounts for the Jeep just because I want to do more fabrication. However, I'm a sucker for a good Facebook Marketplace deal, so I went ahead, picked up some used motor mounts, polyurethane style, for I think under 40 bucks. So I couldn't really pass up the deal. So what we have here is a factory versus the upgraded one. The factory is basically like some type of a rubberized urethane type thing that's loosely mounted inside this shackle. Now this is to allow for vibration, it's allow for movement a little bit to keep the engine vibrations to a minimum, a little bit more comfortable in the cab. Now, the downside to this, though, is if you're going heavy torque or you're starting to put on a lot of weight on your vehicle, the engine's got to push harder to move that vehicle. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be more strain on this rubber. And a lot of times it'll crack right here or separate the metal sleeve out of the rubber here, causing your engine to buck and flop around inside the engine bay. The upside to the upgraded is there's going to be less movement. It's going to hold the engine in place, transferring more power to where it needs to go in the drivetrain. The downside is that you're going to feel more vibration. You're going to get more noise inside the cab. Now, being that my rig is starting to go more toward trail only, we're going to give these a try and see how they do. I'm going to apologize now. In the video, I have a heater on. It's Connecticut, it's December, and it's 30 something degrees out right now, which is actually kind of warm for us. So the heater might kick on randomly when I'm filming, so I apologize in advance. Now, to make things a little bit easier, we're going to start out underneath the rig. We're going to loosen up our transmission mounts. Now, if I remember correctly, I think mine are 15 mil. Find out in a second. Nope, not 15. This is 13. We'll try 13. Yep, 13 it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, start on the driver's side of the vehicle. What I want to do is remove the air box, top and bottom, remove this hose, and then basically we're trying to get down here and get a straight shot at that motor mount. There's our motor mount. Now this is kind of concerning because it looks like it's shifted forward a little bit. I'll be interested to see what this looks like when it takes it off. So it might look a little sketchy, but really I'm just taking a little bit of the weight of the engine off the mounts. I'm not jacking the whole vehicle up, I'm just taking a little bit of the weight off. And what that does is it makes it so you can back this bolt out and slide the bolt out. Okay. So we can crack this loose. Okay, there we go. So if you look right now, the bolt will not come out. But what you want to do is when you're lifting the engine up, you want to watch when the mount and the bolt, or these two mounts, kind of start separating from each other, because then the bolt slides out without any real force. So there's 2 bolts holding this in. There's one right there that you can see, right there. And on the other side of this little flange here on the bracket, right behind it, underneath this mount, is another bolt. So these are 15 mil. Hopefully it comes off fairly easy. Oops. Alright, so it's kind of hard to see, but right here is your next bolt. If you look over right here, that's the bolt that goes through the mount. We just removed the bolt that's on top of this side. This is the last one holding this side in. You want to be careful not to jar the engine too much, because you've removed what's holding it up, at least on one side. Sorry for the bad angle, this is hard to get to with the camera in the way. There we go. Alright, and with any luck, should be able to pull this right out. There we go. Yep. Ooh. Let's take a look at it. These are only about a year, 2 years old. 2 years old. I've already started to separate the bushing from the sleeve on both sides. And the rubber is already starting to crack. All right, time to drop this in. So you see, there's a threaded part, or a bolt that comes through that's threaded, and then something we thread down in. So we're gonna put the stud that comes off. This might be a slightly tight fit. Of course it's gonna be a tight fit. Ooh, that's a tight fit. It's a tight squeeze. Alright. Got that started. Might be able to give that a little tap. The bolt's through, so I'm going to go ahead, snug this up a little bit. There we go, I got a couple good threads on there. I'm going to go on the other side, snug that up, and use that bolt on the underside to pull it down all the way. Oh, no, not loosen. I want to tighten, baby. I want to tighten. Let's do it. This is way easier when you're not filming. Alright, so for the most part, this is bolted down, or at least it's bolted in. It's not tightened down all the way because I want to be able to move this around if I need to. Although, that's pretty snugged up. So I'm going to go ahead, lift the engine up a little bit, and try to get the bolt through. What the hell? Alright, so what I've had to do is loosen everything up, get in there, go up and down with the engine a bunch of times, use a pry bar to kind of manhandle everything kind of where it needs to be. I'm still trying to get it all the way through. So what I might do is use a punch here, line it up. And it's right there. I might lift up the engine a little bit more. Just a shot in the dark. Let's see if it'll thread in. Nope. And why would it? That was a ride. So I kept the mount loose. I had to go up and down a bunch of times, and I stuck a pry bar in here. Got the front started, and I had to go up and down again with the jack to basically use this bolt, spinning it to feel when it had the least amount of friction, and that's when I was able to kind of push it through. I got it about halfway, and then it, no matter what I did, wouldn't work. So I took a pry bar, stuck it under here on the back side, and just manipulated it to the point where I got the back lined up. And now we're fully bolted in. Well, fully through bolted. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and start that bolt, start this nut. Everything's gonna be hand tight because I gotta do the other side. So here's the passenger side mount. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot. I'm gonna break the 18mm loose first from up top if I can, and we'll go from there. All right. Let's see. This is when two people would be nice. Oh, there we go. Gotsy. Okay. Okay, so the plus side of this, you got a straight shot down. If you use a long, oops, find a better way, but use a long socket on a 15 mil. Go weed your way through, right there. You should see it. There we go. Should be there somewhere. Other than that, there it is. Good. Okay, so just like the other side, there's my underside nut. Need room to move here. at it. And with a little luck, there we go. Let's take a look. Not as bad as the driver's side. Yeah, this one's still in decent shape. So yeah, rough. Okay, now it's time to put it back in. Take a drink. Get all these wires out of the way. There's something in the way. Still. Okay. All right. Wow, you know what? I might be able to hit this straight down. Tap it gently. So we got the new mount partially in and have it partially bolted in on the top. I'm just going to go ahead, go underneath, bolt that part in to kind of sink it down a little bit, and then we can play with the main bolt. Okay. And again, we're underneath the rig. Actually, that's seated 100%. Yep, that's seated 100%. So, now, I'm not going to tighten this down all the way. I just want to snug it up so I have a little bit of movement, but it doesn't pull out, causing more problems. Alright, that should be good. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this mount, compared to the other side, looks like it's a lot better lined up in terms of how straight it is compared to the mounting bracket. So we're going to have to lift the engine up and try to get the main bolt through. Better. Okay. Give this a go. That looks close. Oh, no freaking way. Wow, no way. Maybe a little tap tap and get that thing pretty much squared away. I almost don't even want to touch it. That would have been way too easy. I can get to it with a tap tap. On the way, Mr. AC line. Yahtzee. Go ahead and bolt this sucker up. Sweet. So right now I'm going to go ahead, lower the engine, get it back on its own weight, let everything kind of settle where it needs to be, and start tightening up. So one of the best parts of bolting this back up is you don't have to fight with the jack. mount bolt. Tightened up. So now that all the bolts for the mounts up front have been done, I'm going to go back to the middle of the vehicle underneath and hit up the transmission mount bolts, snug those up, and then I can reassemble the airbox. Is it not 15? Not 15. Yahtzee. Good. So now that the transmission bolts are all set, I can go ahead and put the airbox back in. So something to keep in mind. Now, I've been doing some reading up on the brown dog mounts, which I know these are not. However, they suggest, especially with, I think, their polyurethane ones, they tell you to tighten up, but not too much on that main through bolt. Reason being is you can actually adjust the amount of vibration that kicks through those mounts by how tight that bolt is. Obviously, the tighter it is, the more vibrations will come through. The looser it is will allow the engine to move ever so slightly and cut down on some of that vibration going into the rig. So what I've read is that you kind of have to play around, drive it, loosen or tighten depending on your needs. I'm kind of like right in the middle of the road right now in terms of how tight I got it. I didn't get it super tight. It's not loose. It's snug. So we're going to give that a go and see what happens. So that just about wraps it up. So now if you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, leave those down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. Also, click that little bell note icon right next to the subscribe button. It lets you know when I put out new content. And with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one.